Ladies and gentlemen, now that the Nintendo Switch 2 has been out for, well, a few months now, we're officially entering the era where we can have hidden gems. And I know that sounds a little crazy, but unfortunately, it's kind of true. So we're going to go over some hidden gems on the Switch 2 that you need to be playing. Let's go ahead and get right into this video. Yeah, how did this happen? Who knows, but I'll be honest, don't really care because I like talking about hidden gems, and the Switch 2 has, well, not too many, but quite a few at the same time, if that makes sense. So this is going to be a mixture of Switch 2 games and Switch 1 games that run incredibly well on the Switch 2 that you probably never even heard of. So, yeah, before we get started, if you could hit a like and subscribe, that would truly mean the world to me. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter so we can keep this community growing. Now let's go ahead and get into it. So the first game we're talking about is Shadow Labyrinth. Now, this game does have a Switch version as well. I've heard mixed reviews about that, but I'm here to talk about the Switch 2 edition. Now, if I were to tell you Pac-Man was going to come back in 2025, well, now that I think about it, it actually came back twice in 2025. We have this and Pac-Man World Repack 2. That game is also really incredible for the Switch 2, but I don't think it's so much a hidden gem as Shadow Labyrinth. This is a Pac-Man Metroidvania. And when you actually think about Pac-Man, in essence, I guess it could have been a Metroidvania, like they could have evolved it into that, just going left to right instead of all over the screen. Maybe that's something they'll experiment with. But this is like if a crackhead made a Pac-Man Metroidvania, and I mean that in the best ways possible. A swordsman number 8 is awoken by a floating yellow orb, and his name is Puck, on a mysterious planet amidst relics of wars past, and you are chosen to become the instrument of its will. To survive, you will discover many secrets, consume your enemies, and grow from prey to apex predator as you embrace your true purpose. So I feel like this game had a little bit of hype at the time of release. I know the reviews were kind of all over the place because I think people were reviewing the Switch version, but I'm here to tell you this game is awesome and it is fully priced at $30. So check it out if you get a chance. So one of my personal favorite games I have played this year is a game called Mind Over Magnet. Now, I believe this was originally a PC game because a company hit me up and they told me they had a bunch of PC games that were finally getting ported over to the Switch and asked me which ones do I want to check out. This game immediately stood out and I wasn't really sure why, but then as soon as I played it, I was like, yep, my instincts were correct. It is a puzzle game, and the game I'm going to compare it to doesn't really make sense because you're seeing the gameplay, but when you're playing it, you're like, oh, okay, I get it. It reminds me of Portal and Portal 2. Yes, this is not a 3D game, but the way you solve puzzles, it reminds me of the way you solve puzzles in Portal, and the magnet aspect, and just how cohesive the game is. It's really an incredible game that I have not heard a single person talk about. It's a very cheap game, $12.49. That is the full price for this game, and I truly believe it's worth every single penny. And a fun fact, this game was actually created by a YouTuber, I think named Mark Brown. I'll be honest, I don't know who he is, but shout out to Mark. Now, a Switch 2 game I'm sure you have not heard of. Like, I would almost bet money on it. But this isn't a Switch game that just plays on the Switch 2. This is an official Switch 2 game. It is called Bokura Planet. And the crazy thing is, this is a fully priced Switch 2 game that is only $5.49. Now, this is a co-op game. It cannot be played single player, it has to be played co-op. I don't know if two people need to own a copy or if there's like a buddy pass or something like that, but regardless, the game is less than $6, so it's not a big deal to be able to buy a separate copy for like you and your friend. But players must communicate with each other to play this game. So if you're not in the same location, you want to have like voice chat or maybe Discord open or a phone call or something. What's interesting is you can affect the other players too. Like you can press a button and make them fly off a cliff. So you might accidentally get in their way and then they might fling you somewhere else. It's not a long game, about 3 or 4 hours. But I think it's a very interesting concept. I really like the graphics and the art style. And like I was saying, I don't think anybody's heard about this game. Now this next game we're talking about, again, this is a Switch 2 version, but it does have a Switch version as well. I'm not saying these games are so much hidden gems, but they are on the Switch 2 and kind of on the Switch as well. It's Suikoden 1 and 2, HD remasters, yes, I know these are some of the most beloved JRPGs of all time. I know that. I'm not saying those are hidden gems. But on the Switch and Switch 2, I don't think a lot of people pick these up. Maybe you own the OG copies, or maybe you're not a fan of JRPGs, or maybe you know these games have such high praise that you feel like it's too late for you to get into them. That's almost how I felt. I was like, man, I know Suikoden's amazing. I love JRPGs, but it might be too late for me to play them. I might not understand what's going on. And I've talked to other people and they kind of feel the same way as well. But I picked them up and it's not nostalgia that people are talking through. Like, it immediately resonated with me. They are some of the greatest, not just JRPG games I've ever played, but just some of the greatest games I've ever played. On the Switch, they look incredible. On the Switch 2, I mean, they just look better, and I don't really know how that's possible. They are games that you cannot put down once you start playing. There is so much to do in them. And unfortunately, a lot of JRPGs either have really good gameplay, or maybe good stories, or good graphic. You know, it never really just all lines up perfectly. But it does in this collection of games. You're getting 2 full games too. This isn't just one game. You're getting 2 amazing games in one collection. I mean, I could go on and on about these. I just think they resonate, especially with the way the world is these days. If you thought about playing these, if you've ever been interested in them, please pick them up. They are absolutely masterpieces. Now, this next game we're talking about is a game I thought I would never care about. It is called Wbsc eBaseball Power Pros. Yeah, I know, a baseball game. Before we get into the gameplay, guess what? This game is fully priced at 99 cents. That is the full price of the game. So if you want to take a chance on any game in this video, you might as well do it for only $1. I don't really care that much about baseball, like, at all. I've actually been watching it a little bit lately though, because Seattle Mariners are in the playoffs, and you know, Nintendo has a history with them, so it got me interested, and I've been watching baseball. But I like playing baseball games, but I don't know how I stumbled across this, but I bought it. Maybe it was the art style, it reminded me of like Wii characters, but I'm addicted to it, man. I play this game so damn much. I've probably played, I'm not even kidding, like 50 games, and I think I've won twice, because even though it has like cute graphics, it's kind of realistic, like super realistic sometimes. And if I'm not mistaken, this is a series that's been out for multiple decades, maybe all the way back on the Famicom or Super Famicom. I know this is pretty big in Japan, even to this day. And you can play people online from like all over the world, and it's always a lot of Japanese people. But it is so damn good. I like creating all my own little teams and having them battle each other. But man, is it good. Especially on the Switch 2, it plays incredibly well. Another game that came out, I want to say about a month ago, that I think flew under the radar completely is Lego Voyagers. Yes, it's another Lego game. So you might say, well, why would I play this one? It's just like all the other ones. But it's kind of not. I'm not sure if it was It Takes Two and Split Fiction and games similar to that kind of revived those 2-player only games. But that's what this is. This is a game where you and another person will play together. It's a co-op adventure about friendship. And I do think, if I'm not mistaken, there is a buddy pass, so only one person has to be able to buy this. Then the other person can download the buddy pass and play for free. The graphics seem kind of simple, or relatively simple compared to some other games. But I think that really adds to the charm. And they really like put the gameplay and narrative and story building, they put that all at the forefront over the graphics or maybe the art style. And it really does shine. Maybe you don't care about Lego games. Maybe you don't care about these 2-player adventure games. But I'm telling you, if you have a chance to play this, you're going to be surprised. You're really going to enjoy it. And what's really cool is I think 2 people can even play on one screen locally. Now let's talk about a game called Lynked Banner of the Spark. This game also has a Switch version as well, but I'm talking about the Switch 2 edition. I did talk about this game briefly when I made a video about new Switch games, I believe. And then I had a bunch of you guys message me on Instagram saying, dude, I'm in love with this game now. I don't like simplifying stuff, but sometimes I do because I'm not that smart and I don't have the most words to explain stuff. Oh well, buddy, if you want a lot of words, go read a book. This is like kind of like Hades, but also maybe like Animal Crossing or Stardew Valley, or just, I guess I'm trying to say like a town building game. And you will go out and do missions and do runs or whatever, and then you will come back to your town and rebuild it, and it has all these little robots, and the gameplay is surprisingly, like, really, really good. Like, has no right to be as good as it is. You have Hades that kind of does its own thing, and then a few others as well, but the gameplay in this one, I think it really does shine. I think the game looks amazing. I can't remember if they showed this off in the Nintendo Direct. I kind of feel like they did, but it was glossed over quickly. Actually, now that I think about it, I think this game was shown off in the Direct, and then it was a shadow drop the same day. So maybe a few people played it, but a lot more people should be playing it. The great thing, again, is this game is only fully priced at $25. So if you can, I would really take a chance on this one. And I hate that I'm even saying this, but the last game we're talking about today is Fast Fusion. I knew this game was eventually going to go under the radar. Like, if you bought your Switch 2 day one, you probably tried to buy as many games as you could, and I feel like that's where 90% of the sales for this game like came from. But now, you know, people getting Switch 2s in September and October and then going into November, you're not hearing anybody talk about Fast Fusion. The developers of this game also made The Tourist, and I know we just got the deluxe version of that game on the Switch 2 as well. This is one of the best looking games we have on the Switch 2, and I would bet money by the end of the Switch 2 generation, in 8 years or whatever, this will still be one of the best looking games we got the entire generation. But it's not just graphically impressive, it plays amazingly. It is one of the best racing games I have ever played, and if I forgot to mention it, let me remind you, it is only $15. The game is called Fast Fusion, and that's what's interesting about this game, is you can fuse two cars together to make a new car with better stats or whatever, right? So if you don't know what to play, or you like racing games, or you want to buy something cheap, I mean, I don't know how else to convince you, but Fast Fusion is hands down not just a hidden gem, not just a great racing game, it is absolutely a must-play game. Ladies and gentlemen, these are some hidden gems on the Switch 2 that you need to play. I know hidden gems, they sound cool and it's fun to talk about them, but I want more people to play these games. So in the comments below, let me know what you guys are thinking. Let me know if you've played any of these games or any more hidden gems you think I should know about. Just start a conversation. And if you made it all the way to this part of the video, if you could do me a favor, hit a like and subscribe on the way out. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter so we can keep the communities growing. And you guys know me, I will see you very soon with a new video. Peace out.